Give it a bit of extra strength, and I'm going to use those straps to velcro it together at the back. Hey guys, this is Jake from JTS Cosplay, back with another video. This one is going to be the first installment of the Arsenal sort of costume series that I'm going to be doing. Hopefully I can get a video out for sort of every component, even if it's just an overview if I don't really have time to sort of make a video about it. But today we're going to be focusing on the belt. I do have mostly everything for the belt, so like I said in the video before this one, I'm just going to be doing a belt made out of foam, and then I have the 3D printed A piece and the arrows that go on either side for the middle, and then the belt pouches I'm actually going to be using foam, which I have made a template for, which I will show you. And I've made a couple of them and I'm pretty happy with them. I just need to make the actual belt part, finish and paint the A and the arrows, or it's not really an A, I guess, it's more of an arrow itself. So once all the pouches are done, which I think I'm going to be doing either 8 or 10, just whatever looks better, I'll try with the 8, and then I'll, if that's not really what I'm going for, I'll just make another 2, it won't take very long. But I'm not actually going to be finishing them up. Like I said in the other video, I'm going to be wrapping them in fabric, a technique I used in my Robin build, my Young Justice Season 2 Team Drake. So yeah guys, that's about it for the planning of it. First off, I'm just going to show you the pouches, the pattern that I made out of paper, and then how I transfer that onto foam, and then from there transfer it onto the fabric that I will eventually wrap it with. So first off, this is the paper pattern I made. So pretty much I just measured out how long I wanted it and then how wide I wanted it for the sides. So I did that for all this measurement, the sides at this measurement, so when it folds over like that, it all sort of comes together. That's rough, but that's the front. Just measured how far I wanted that down, and then it becomes like that. I traced that onto foam, craft foam, and then glue it together. I only glued this one with hot glue. This comes down like that. So it's a pretty nice pouch, and it's a bit rough, but it's going to be covered by fabric. I think I need to glue in some plastic styrene just to make sure that the sides do have their rigidity and they like keep their form. But otherwise they are pretty fun to make, pretty easy to make. The only thing that is bad is I only have A4 sheets of craft foam, and this takes up a whole one. Like, you can't get 2 out of one thing, so I'm just going to have a bunch of scrap. But anyways, so I'm going to get to tracing out all of them and then cutting them all out, gluing them all together, and then we'll get to the fabric. All the pouches are now done. They're not the neatest pouches, but I'm just going to sand down the edges, and then once it's wrapped with fabric you won't even know. As I said before, I don't really like how they're like sort of puffy. They're not like a rectangle sort of pouch like his are. So what I did was I grabbed the heat gun and heated up the whole pouch, and then I just pinched all the corners and made sure that they stayed nice and sharp, and it gives that rectangle sort of look instead of the puffy look. It's a bit more real, I reckon. Now that they're done, I'm just going to move on to the actual main belt part. So I'm going to make that out of foam, back it with nylon webbing, and also I have to finish the arrow parts that are on the front of the belt. So I'll show you how I'm going to do all of that, and then we can move on to wrapping all the foam parts in some fabric. Sorry guys, jump forward a bit here. These are just sitting here, but these are the arrow pieces that are going to go in the middle of the belt. The belt is a 2-inch piece of foam that I cut out, that I measured for my waist. On the end I have put nylon webbing, and on the full inside of the belt, just for a bit of extra strength, and then it sort of just works out how I'm going to use that to attach it. So I've got Velcro already cut here, ready to go. I'm going to put one side of this here, and then another side on the back of this side. So once it goes around my waist, it can attach securely, and I don't have to worry about things falling off. So now that the belt is attached with Velcro, I can easily detach and attach it from myself. I'm super happy with how secure it is. I did just try it on, it fits very well. I'm not too worried about the back closure being seamless, as the arrow quiver on the back will cover it, so that's not a big worry. So now it is ready for fabric. Then I do need to finish these arrow pieces, these ones and the two small ones, so it's time to prime them, and then we can get to wrapping the belt and the pouches in fabric. All arrow pieces have now been sanded with a 120 grit sandpaper, so they're ready for their first coat of primer filler or spray putty. Once the spray putty has dried, then I will sand that back with a 180 grit piece of sandpaper and then recoat with spray putty, and just repeat that until the finish is as smooth as I desire. So I was thinking, while I wait for the primer filler to keep drying as I sand each coat, I would have a crack at covering the pouches in the fabric. So what I've done, I've actually done a few already. So what I was talking about before, sanding the edges, it's just pretty much just making sure that there's no like high or low spots. It's just so like the fabric doesn't go into them. I've learned along the way a few different patterns and ways to do this, but I think this is the best way, a pattern like this. So it's pretty much opposite to the pattern to make the pouch itself. So what happens is, that's the back part, this is the top, and it sort of goes like that. That wraps around there. It's obviously a bit big on this one, and then this wraps up there, gets cut, that slides in there, and then it sort of covers it, and it sort of looks a bit seamless. If I did it the other way, I'd have all seams along here and stuff like that. So I'm pretty happy with how that is. How I'm going about it to attach it, I'm just using some Sally's Quick Grip spray adhesive, just to like easily do it without having any glue marks underneath. What I do, as you'll see in a moment, is I just spray both pieces with the spray adhesive, and then let that dry for about 5 minutes until it's at least tacky. Dry is optimal, but at least tacky is enough. And then I put the back on first, and then do the top, and then just move my way around to here. I don't actually spray the whole thing at first, I just spray the back and the bottom, but then once I get around to the front, I spray the front, just so it is a better hold and I don't have things being sprayed that doesn't need spraying. So yeah, that's just the gist of it pretty much. I'll show you how it's done right now. I only have like 1 or 2 more after this left to do. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I did mess up pretty bad on this one. When I was cutting this back spare piece of fabric off, I cut through the actual foam pouch, so I'm just going to have to back that, like inside there, back that with some
more craft foam, and then I'm going to paint all these edges anyway. It's just going to look like weathering. These need to be glued in with super glue just so they go flush. It's just because the spray adhesive wasn't there. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with how they turn out. Obviously that needs to be pushed in. It's not too bad. They're not exactly how I wanted, but I think with weathering and a bit of a paint job, they'll look a bit better. I might put some foam in there just to make sure they hold their shape and they don't look out of shape and flimsy. But yeah, for now, that's pretty much all the pouches done. I just have a couple left to do that with. I've already cut out the fabric. Then I'm just going to move on to the belt. I'm not going to bother showing you how I do the belt. It's going to be pretty simple. It's just tracing the belt itself on the fabric and then just giving like maybe a centimeter or two either side of the belt itself on the fabric, just so I can wrap it around the back side, and then I just got to do a few little cuts so it all looks very seamless. The arrow parts are nearly finished. I just need to buy some paint, gold paint, to paint them, and then we can move on to finishing the belt and attaching the pouches. I will be airbrushing everything, like in the mostly everything in this costume, so I'm going to do a separate video on that. So for now it's just going to be a clean non-weathered belt at the end of this. Here are the arrow pieces for the belt, fully primed and dried, ready to go. I did sand them to a 320 grit sandpaper. They're not that smooth in terms of reflection and things like that, but I am happy with them for what I need. To paint them, I'm going to be using the Dulux Duramax metallic gold. I've never used this before, so hopefully all goes well. Also, I forgot for the pouches to close them. Even in the comics, they do have like a snap, like sort of fastener. So what I have here is just some paper fasteners that I've sort of just inserted into a piece of foam that I have. Because in the comic they are black, so I want to maintain that. So I'm going to paint those black as well. So yeah, let's get to painting. I'm going to paint these in the gold first. I'm going to leave those until after and do them in a matte black. And then we can get to actually finishing the belt and putting it all together. Hey guys, so back here, this is pretty much the belt, nearly done. I haven't gone ahead and glued these, just for, obviously, as you can see, I have gone ahead and done the snap fasteners. So pretty much all it is that I put a hole in here, and also these, they're 3D printed, just rectangular prisms that are hollow, so they sort of give it a bit more shape, and plus these ones won't have foam in them, so now I can still put cards and all sorts of things that will fit in there. So once again, this is just like a cheap snap fastener for paper, and yeah, I just sort of put it in there. I thought I would have had to fold the pins back, but it does a pretty good job of keeping it in there. Also, the gold arrow pieces painted. Those look pretty sick. I'm pretty happy with them. I've drew a center line just with chalk, and that's pretty much how I've got everything arranged right now. It's pretty much how it is going to look when it's all glued together. I'm pretty happy with all the pouches and how they look. They just will need a bit of an airbrushing just so they don't look so basic, and a bit of weathering just so they don't look very bland, because they sort of look bland at the moment. So for gluing the actual pouches to the belt, because that's what I'm going to do to fix them to the belt, and the arrow pieces as well, I'm just going to be using this CA glue by Bob Smith Industries. Most CA glues pretty much are the same thing. I really do like this one. I used to use Zap-A-Gap, but they, like I said, do the same thing. I also use the accelerator, as you spray this on one side, you put the glue on the other side, you put them both together, and it pretty much sets instantly, so that's a bonus. What I'm going to be doing is just working from the middle out and gluing that part first, and then gluing the pouches after, just in the same order, just so to make sure that they're level and they both have equal amount of spacing. So yeah, we're nearly done for the belt. I'm super excited about it. I think this is a good start to the Arsenal costume. I can't wait to airbrush it and everything like that and give it some weathering. But after I've glued these, I'm going to go inside and then try it on and show you guys the result.
guys for today. I am super happy with how the belt came out. I am so excited to actually weather and airbrush that. I just think it brings another level to costumes, even if it is super subtle. If you do like the video, hit like, and if you want to see the rest of the series, definitely subscribe. I have a lot more videos coming out with this costume and hopefully a few different ones as well. So yeah, have a good day guys. Once again, thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video.